that up.
Yes. But it's like, now I wish I had them. So
We have some folks in Germany listening. What are the ones you had?
well, I had
Hello, Germans. Wie geht's?
BOP was
Bop?
BOP. Yeah,
Like
they were-
BOP?
BAP.
Bravo, Oscar, P?
BAP.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the German
Well,
bop,
yeah,
not
yeah, German
bop.
bop. Yeah, which was a group from Cologne,
Okay.
and I absolutely adored them, and they still make music.
Okay.
So
So when we
they're very
finally get
popular.
a record player, are you going to have to import some bop records?
I think so. Yeah, and okay. So if you are from Germany, just don't hold this against me, but I did have copies of the Spider Murphy Gang.
The Spider Murphy
The
Gang?
Spider Murphy Gang, yeah. And I remember the album cover had, I think it was called The Peep Show.
Man, I wish that face that I just made translated through the podcast. I think I just gave you the people's eyebrow. I was like, do you smell what the Rock's cooking? I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure that they actually made, I think they had a couple albums after that, but I don't think they, maybe they were. I left in 87, 88, so.
I was 8.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Du bist eine alte Frau.
Oh, wirklich, danke.
That's all I got in the German, people. I think that's all we've got to talk about today, business-wise.
Yeah.
We have our sponsors that are going to be peppered through the show, so welcome sponsors, specifically GameSurplus.com, who's easily my favorite online game store, the first online game store I ever ordered from.
Same here.
That is true, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember
Wow,
when
you did order from Game Surplus.
I did. When you first got me started on games, that was one of the websites you had thrown out there.
Yeah.
And I decided to get on and I just picked games that look cool.
She did, and they actually worked out pretty well.
And it ended up, yeah, because we got this big box from Game Surplus, and he's like, "What'd you order?" I'm like, "Well, so there's Galapagos,
Stratopolis, which we reviewed in our our first
which
two-player
I really,
episode.
really, really liked.
Der Schwarm,
Der Schwarm,
which we have to play again. We need more plays of that with more people. It's definitely not a two-player game.
It really needs 3 or 4 people, I think. And geez, what else was in there?
I can't remember.
But those were the 3 that I remember that were in there.
This is how I knew
There was one more.
I was in good hands with Game Surplus. I remember the first order I ever made. I ordered Blue Moon City. This was when Thor still owned the place, so you haven't dealt with Thor. I think you just dealt with Velma.
Yes.
So Thor was the owner when I started buying from them. And he sent me a copy of Blue Moon, the regular 2-player card game, by accident. Sent him an email. He sends me the game the following day with a return shipping label for the other one and doesn't charge me shipping.
Wow.
And I was like, so he took care of it right away. Like, just astoundingly good customer service. And they've continued that tradition there. So we're thrilled to have Game Surplus on the show as an official sponsor. And what that means for you guys listening is that we're going to have some giveaways from them. They're going to be sponsoring some game giveaways, and we're also going to periodically have some discount codes for the listeners of Cardboard Insanity. So you guys will be able to get games from Game Surplus at a discount above their regular discount, which is awesome. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think we might have some special sales and things like that. And if you're looking for imports, that's sort of one of their specialties.
It really is.
If you're looking for something from outside America, specifically, a European publisher, if they don't have it, ask, because they can usually get it.
Right.
And they get lots of cool stuff in. There's lots of things that I've been eyeballing for a while. They constantly get copies of Glenmore in, which is a game that people are always looking for from Matthias Kramer. And Citrus, I know they've got Citrus, which is one that I've wanted for a long time. Eventually, one of these days, I'll buy it.
Maybe.
Yeah. So they have just about everything there. And they are the friendly local game store of the online game stores, because they're not the super huge operation of some of the bigger ones, but the attention to detail you'll get there is phenomenal. So welcome aboard Game Surplus, and thank you for sponsoring the show and joining the Cardboard Insanity family. So without too much further jibber jabber, we've got part 2 of our interview with David Harding from Grail Games today. And then the Horsey Avenger and I, for our game of the week, are going to review Circus Flohcati.
Flohcati. Yes, which took me... I don't know why it took me so long to realize that we're talking about a flea circus.
The show or the game? That's hurtful.
Well,
The dog?
I don't think she's ever had fleas.
No, she did.
No.
She'd be
No.
orphaned. So
No.
while you're listening to the show, you can tweet to us about how wonderful we are and how much you love us at the Horsey _Avenger.
Yes.
And at Cardboard Insane. We have the Facebook page.com/cardboardinsanity. The email is info@cardboardinsanity.com. I haven't done this in so long, I forgot the whole thing.
You have to actually think about
That's
this.
fine. We're mostly active on the Twitter, so hit us up there. And Game Surplus is on Twitter as well. I believe it's at Game Surplus.
I believe so.
I think so. But search them. They're on there. So tweet them. Say thanks for being an awesome part of the show. And we will be right back with our interview part 2 with David Harding. Let's go to the next game we're going to review, and then I want to talk about stuff you have coming up, and I want to talk about Medici. But we're going to also be reviewing Circus Flohcati. So I'm going to start off by saying that I think it is, and I'm sorry, this will sound like a put down, but I mean this as a compliment. It is some of the most garish presentation I've seen, and it is absolutely wonderful. I love it. I love the presentation because it looks completely gaudy and ridiculous. Like when you think of a flea circus, it's amazing. The artwork, the pictures of the performers on the circus cards is so cool, but it's so loud. It's a wonderful juxtaposition that I think is really great.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. That's the most backhanded compliment I could give you.
Okay, so when Heiko, the designer, the artist, was sending in the pictures, every single one that came in, I cracked up.
Right.
I don't know why it was hilarious to me. It's just my sense. It's very Monty Python, I think.
Oh, completely.
Very Terry Gilliam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was the trick, this was the hard part because Dr. Knizia, who designed the game, didn't want to have it change name or theme. He wanted it to be... He likes to keep... If a game has been out before, he wants people to be able to harken back to that. He wants the game to continue. So I thought, okay, it's going to be fleas. It's going to be a circus. What do we do with that? I really love I'm a big silent movie buff. I love the turn of the last century sort of art aesthetics and ways of doing things. So to make this art, we actually got actual 19th century circus posters, actual typefaces used in circus posters.
Really?
And then a flea head, and we stuck them on.
A flea head. I know. I was wondering how you guys did that because the presentation of the performers and then the fonts and all that you used on the cards, I thought was great. I liked the old style text and how each color, each of the suits had its own text type, sort of its own font type, but they were all in the same style. I like the Circus Flohcati logo being a mishmash of all those different character types. Just really good, and that card back is so loud. It's wonderful. I'm sure it was completely intentional, and a lot of people have looked at that and said, honestly, like that's ugly, but it's perfect for the attitude of the game. So anybody that complains about the art has to go through me because it's ideal for the setting. What was your rationale for wanting to do that game? Was that one that you're a fan of?
I've been playing that game for years, and to speak candidly again...
That's the only way we do it on Cardboard Insanity. We're all candid all the time.
Ooh.
It's vulnerable, I know.
So I knew I was going to be doing... Sorry, we say Medici. So if I say Medici, it's Medici.
Well, no, I've never known what the pronunciation is. So
every American I've talked to, it's Medici. So, but I'm not Italian, so I don't know.
No, me neither. I've got nothing. I'm going to have meatballs for dinner. Does that count?
Well, then we'll go with yours. So,
I'm the authority now. I like it.
no. Well, anyway, so I say Medici, but
Okay.
anyway. I knew I was going to do Medici, but I personally wanted to work with Reiner Knizia on something a bit smaller and simpler first.
Right.
Just to see how it went. And not that he's hard to deal with at all, but just for me, I wanted to take it slower. And here's this classic card game that's been out of print for 8 years or something. No, I've forgotten.
A very long time. Since before I started board gaming.
There you go. So we did it. It's just a good game. I mean, then, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, a couple of games came out last year with the same mechanic. They sort of riffed off of Circus Flohcati, which had done it 10 years before. So now the game, maybe some people feel they know it already, but that's because this one came first.
Do you want to say what those games are? Because I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Port Royal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right.
Pegasus.
Yep.
It feels very different, but it uses the same core mechanic. And the other one is Dead Man's Draw, I think it's called.
Yeah.
From Mayday.
Yep, Dead Man's Draw. Now, having never played Circus Flohcati before recently, that never dawned on me till you just said it. But Port Royal is definitely a more complex version.
Yeah.
So it takes away the elegant simplicity of Circus Flohcati. It makes it a beefier game, not by a lot, but it definitely adds, decision trees and things like that. Dead Man's Draw kind of does the same thing, but it's got more, I don't want to call them special characters, but more hieroglyphics on there.
Right.
So it kind of takes it in the same direction as Port Royal. So I can see what you're saying then. So some people that may have seen these before Circus Flohcati, like myself, if you think these are the original idea and Circus Flohcati is the riff, got that backwards, because Circus Flohcati is the more elegant design.
So, maybe it's going to drive me broke, but I've got a bit of a thing going where the German card games from 5, I don't know how long now, just say 10 years ago, they were all just so elegant and so hit this target, and I'd love them to come to the fore again. I think that there is a trend at the moment to go simpler and more family style and more streamlined with games, not in every aspect of the market, but in a lot of them.
Right.
But still, we're not quite at that point that games were before we got very complex.
No, we're sort of riding the cycle right now, aren't we? Because as an example to what you're saying, I had introduced Winner Circle to some friends. I had friends over. Yep. I had not played that game in years. I was lucky enough to trade for a copy of Royal Turf not all that long ago. So I got a great trade. And I was like, all right, we're going to play this. And they're almost looking at me. I tell them the rules in about 5 minutes. And they're like, right, so where's the rest of the game? But then you start playing it and you're like, oh, that's all it needs. That's all it actually needs.
Yeah. So Reiner Knizia is the king of this, because the rules for Medici, they're so simple. And when you read them, you think, that's it? It's just an auction.
Right.
But what isn't in the rules is, by the way, players are going to screw with each other and they're going to fiddle with each other's plans and get in each other's heads.
Right.
By the way, this is a very interactive and each game is different. It doesn't have that in the rules. So you just read the rules, how you play, and you think that's it. I mean, Cosmic Encounter's the same.
Oh, that's the poster child for that, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a few other games, there's heaps of games like this, but yeah, I love that in a game. You teach it in 5 minutes, and then on the second or third turn, everyone's eyes go, oh.
Yeah, right. Hey, that's my fish is another one. Now, listen, you just move your penguin and you take a tile. What happens if I get blocked? Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Have you played Paris Connection?
I have. Oh, is that not a wonderful game?
Oh my gosh.
Right.
So the rules for Paris Connection, one paper.
Yep.
One side is the rules, one side is the setup.
Yep.
That's it.
I know.
Oh, But then you play it, and actually I remember I played it 3 times in a row once, and it wasn't until the second game where someone took some train. Sorry if you don't know what this game is, but I'll just do a quick